A golden light tore through the heavens, crackling with untamed energy, shaking the towering mountains. An eagle soared above, sensing the disturbance, as ancient forces awakened from their deep slumber. Below, a group of robed figures ascended the mountain, their eyes locked onto the glowing sky. A shadowed figure gazed at the celestial rift, his past wounds resurfacing with a burning vengeance. The eagle's screech echoed through the cliffs as the light intensified, signaling the return of power. Yewu's eyes glowed with electricity, the suppressed power within him finally beginning to awaken. Deep within, an unseen force resonated, pulling his soul towards a long-sealed and forgotten strength. Energy coiled around the heavens, twisting the very air, a force unlike anything the world had seen. The disturbance rippled outward, shaking distant lands, where ancient figures stirred from meditation. The temple doors trembled, the world bracing itself for a storm unlike any before in history. Within the Tower of Seals, an elder sat in deep meditation, his breakthrough finally complete. Disciples gathered before him, bowing in reverence, knowing the balance of power was shifting. Outside, the tower pulsed with unstable energy, cracks forming as reality strained under the pressure. Dark mist erupted from its core, twisting into monstrous shapes, heralding the birth of chaos. From the blood-red sky, creatures swarmed, descending upon the land, bringing calamity in their wake. Under a blood-red moon, a towering castle stood, emanating an ominous and oppressive aura. Within its dark halls, a pale figure sat in silence, eyes gleaming with cold determination. Shadows danced around the crimson altar as ancient forces prepared for an inevitable confrontation. In a distant monastery, prayers echoed through the halls, seeking divine protection against the coming storm. An eagle soared into the sky, carrying a message that could determine the world's fate. Yiwu stood high above the clouds, his energy surging like an untamed celestial storm. With a single motion, his power split the sky, shaking mountains and rivers below. The eagle dived toward him, carrying an urgent message from a land he had forgotten. Far away, a ripple of energy spread, alerting unknown forces to his unexpected return. The temple trembled as a powerful presence awakened, sensing the shift in destiny. A spirit materialized before Yiwu, revealing the shocking truth of his prolonged retreat. Time had warped within his secluded training, turning 2 days into 2,000 years. The world's energy had weakened, and the balance of power had shifted beyond recognition. Yiwu clenched his fists, realizing that history had moved on without him, leaving behind ruins. Without hesitation, he leaped from the cliff, determined to uncover the truth for himself. Yiwu descended from the sky, his sharp gaze locking onto unfamiliar figures standing below. The men shouted in confusion, unable to comprehend his presence in the air. A man wielding a strange weapon charged, releasing an energy blast aimed directly at him. With a flick of his hand, Yiwu deflected the attack, unimpressed by their strength. Realizing the world had truly changed, he decided to capture them for information. Lightning sparked from Yiwu's fingertips, instantly striking down his unworthy opponents. Their bodies collapsed, unable to withstand even a fraction of his power. He stared at them, astonished by how weak mortals had become after 2,000 years. Among the fallen, a strange glowing device caught his attention, pulsing with unfamiliar energy. The device vibrated, displaying a name, calling out as if expecting a response. Yiwu hesitated, staring at the glowing screen, uncertain of the mysterious artifact's purpose. The voice echoed from it, speaking words that left him confused yet intrigued. He clenched his fist, sensing no spiritual energy within the object, yet it carried significance. Realizing the world had truly changed, he decided he needed a new identity to survive. Kneeling beside the fallen man, he took what was necessary and prepared to blend in. Yiwu adjusted his appearance, ready to explore this strange new world filled with unfamiliar sights. In a bustling city, towering structures stood, a sharp contrast to the ancient lands he knew. In a quiet room, Jiang Xiaoru sat with a frown, frustration clear in her piercing gaze. Lin Qiyun lounged nearby, offering reassurance, but the burden of expectations weighed heavily. Outside, the winds shifted, signaling the arrival of someone who did not belong in this era. Jiang Xiaoru's expression hardened as she contemplated her future, torn between duty and personal freedom. Memories of the past resurfaced, reminding her of the burdens placed upon her shoulders. Meanwhile, Yiwu soared across the sky, scanning the unfamiliar world beneath him. A crowd below gasped at his presence, stunned by a sight they believed impossible. Determined to understand this era, Yewu decided to observe from within rather than above. A child pointed at the sky, eyes wide with wonder, breaking the mundane rhythm of the city. Yewu studied the airship before him, puzzled by its lack of any spiritual energy. As he drew closer, a loud crash erupted, drawing attention to his unintentional impact. Inside a towering building, startled workers turned, irritated by the unexpected commotion. Unfazed, Yewu descended further, prepared to meet those who now ruled this era. Yewu plummeted through the sky, realizing too late that he had miscalculated his landing. After an hour, he woke up in the forest, the impact surprisingly leaving him unscathed. A low growl rumbled behind him, his instincts flaring as danger crept closer. A ferocious beast lunged, its golden eyes locking onto him as it bared its fangs. Meanwhile, in the city, a child curiously watched Yewu sitting alone, sensing his unfamiliar presence. The child tilted her head, questioning why Yewu appeared lost and without direction. Her innocent gaze held no fear, only curiosity at the stranger before her. Yewu observed her closely, noting the complete absence of any spiritual energy within her. The effort of flying earlier had drained him, forcing him to reconsider his next move. He decided to lay low, blending into this world until he regained his former strength. The child handed him food, a simple yet sincere gesture that caught him off guard. He accepted it, momentarily reminded of the kindness humanity could still hold. Looking around, he realized how much the world had changed, especially the fashion. As he observed passing people, their revealing clothing puzzled him, making him question society's evolution. Despite the strangeness of this new era, he saw innocence in the young, untouched by worldly struggles. The young girl called out, her voice filled with joy as she ran toward a familiar figure. A woman in white approached, worry evident in her expression as she searched for her daughter. Yewu remained seated, watching the reunion, but sensed something was off. A sudden attack came from the side, a large fist aiming directly at him. He dodged instinctively, eyes narrowing at the unexpected hostility from the approaching man. The attacker lunged forward, his movements quick but lacking the refinement of a true warrior. Yewu caught the incoming strike, his grip firm as he assessed his opponent's strength. With a swift motion, he countered, forcing the man back with minimal effort. The man staggered, anger flashing in his eyes, unwilling to accept his clear disadvantage. Undeterred, Yewu remained calm, knowing that brute force alone meant nothing in true combat. The woman's sharp gaze silenced the tension, her presence commanding immediate respect from those around. The child excitedly explained the encounter, oblivious to the conflict that had nearly erupted. Yewu listened, realizing the misunderstanding that had led to the unnecessary confrontation. The attacker hesitated, before reluctantly lowering his head in an awkward show of regret. Accepting the apology, Yewu remained composed, more focused on understanding the new world than fighting. The woman gracefully approached, her presence carrying an air of nobility and quiet gratitude. She extended a token of appreciation, a gesture Yewu hadn't expected in this unfamiliar world. A parked vehicle caught his attention, another reminder of how far the world had changed. Bidding farewell, he gently patted Yunyu's head, offering her warmth through a simple gesture. As he grasped her wrist, he sensed an imbalance in her health, a subtle but curable ailment. Yewu placed a small pill in Yunyu's palm, whispering instructions before stepping back. As they left, he observed the mother and daughter, sensing a deeper story behind them. Inside the car, an assistant reminded the woman of an upcoming appointment with a renowned doctor. A pill sat in Yunyu's hand, catching her mother's attention, her reaction sharp and immediate. Despite being told to discard it, Yunyu hesitated, unknowingly holding a remedy beyond modern medicine. Yunyu suddenly felt dizzy, a strange warmth spreading through her body as she clutched her head. Her mother's worried gaze deepened as she realized something was wrong with her daughter's condition. Urgent orders were given, and the car sped toward the only doctor who could help. Hidden in her hands, the pill remained, its power yet to reveal its true effect. The residence of Dr. Shu remained peaceful under the bright sky, untouched by the world's chaos. Inside, Dr. Shu, known for his divine hands, turned from his books to unexpected visitors. A desperate man rushed in, carrying an unconscious girl, her pale face reflecting the urgency. The mother followed closely behind, fear gripping her heart as she pleaded for her daughter's life. With calm determination, Dr. Shu held the frail girl, his eyes scanning for hidden ailments. His fingers pressed against her wrist, searching for a pulse, sensing the fading warmth of life. A solemn silence filled the room as his expression darkened, realizing the severity of the illness. His hands trembled slightly. This condition was beyond his capabilities, and time was slipping away. The mother broke into sobs, her cries filled with despair, unwilling to accept such a cruel fate. Determined, she pleaded, willing to give anything, even her own life, to save her daughter. Dr. Shu recalled a lost remedy, the legendary 9 turns rejuvenation pill from ancient times. The pill, capable of restoring life, had its formula lost for centuries, making hope seem impossible. Though he possessed half of the formula, the missing piece made refining it an unattainable dream. Just then, a faint medicinal aroma filled the air, stirring a deep sense of familiarity. His gaze landed on the girl's belt, where a small golden object seemed to hold an answer. The scent and shape of the pill matched the lost formula, stirring Dr. Shu's astonishment. The mother revealed a kind stranger had gifted the pill, claiming it would cure yin-yin. Dr. Shu's heart pounded. This could be the legendary 9 turns rejuvenation pill, thought lost forever. Realization struck, and hope flickered in the mother's tearful eyes as she clutched her chest. With newfound confidence, Dr. Shu smirked, feeling his reputation soaring to unprecedented heights. Excitement surged through him as he prepared to administer the pill, his hands steady with purpose. The miraculous medicine began working instantly, its essence flowing through Yin-Yin's fragile body. With every passing moment, her complexion brightened, strength returning to her once weak frame. The mother's relief was immeasurable, gratitude pouring from her as she praised Dr. Shu. However, Dr. Shu insisted the true credit belonged to the mysterious young benefactor. The mother hesitated, recalling her encounter with the stranger, regretting nearly discarding the precious pill. A man nearby mentioned seeing the young man at Hijou University earlier that day. Dr. Shu speculated that someone possessing such a rare pill couldn't be an ordinary student. Recognizing the young man's worth, the Wang family agreed to seek him out immediately. Strengthening their ties with him could bring unimaginable benefits to their household. The bustling streets of Hijou were alive with energy as Ye Wu strolled through. Holding a small bag of food, he casually ignored the phone that kept vibrating. With a bite of his snack, he glanced at the screen, curious about the caller. A familiar name appeared, stirring a deep memory that sent a chill down his spine. The voice on the other end triggered a strange sensation, something beyond simple coincidence. His vision blurred for a moment, as fragmented memories resurfaced from a distant past. Somewhere far away, a woman laughed joyfully, her presence oddly comforting and nostalgic. Reality snapped back as he walked through the crowd, his mind still unsettled. Looking at his phone again, he recalled an unusual meeting with an old master. Standing before an ancient monument, he sensed that answers lay within forgotten history. However, his current priority was reaching Aunt Zhou, putting all suspicions aside for now. A grand estate stood atop Yunyu Mountain, its gates towering with aristocratic elegance. Young noble girls chatted outside, daydreaming about the powerful figures within the estate. Their conversation turned to a mysterious figure who had recently caused quite a stir. Unfazed, Ye Wu approached the entrance, wondering if this was the place Aunt Zhou mentioned. The grand estate stood tall, its luxurious gates hinting at the wealth hidden beyond. 2 noble girls whispered among themselves, uneasy about the unfamiliar figure nearing their residence. Wary of possible danger, one suggested calling upon their guardian beast to assess the newcomer. With a command, a deafening roar filled the air as the mighty Lion King emerged. The beast charged forward, eyes locked on the approaching figure, its powerful strides shaking the ground. The noble girls gasped as the massive creature lunged toward the stranger with relentless force. However, Ye Wu remained still, showing neither fear nor urgency as the beast closed in. With a single effortless motion, he neutralized the attack, leaving onlookers in stunned silence. The girls stared in disbelief. How could anyone suppress such a powerful guardian so easily? Before they could react further, a familiar presence stepped forward, eyes glowing with recognition. Ye Wu arrived at the grand estate, standing before the towering gates with quiet confidence. A familiar presence greeted him, stirring a distant memory buried within his past. Aunt Zhou's expression softened, reminiscing about the bond they once shared long ago. However, the younger noble girls looked at him with skepticism, their gazes filled with doubt. Suddenly, one of them struck out playfully, testing his reaction with unexpected boldness. The playful tension escalated as one girl accused him of being too indifferent and distant. She struggled to recall their childhood days, where he once followed her around eagerly. As the realization dawned, she turned to confirm his identity, eyes widening in recognition. Aunt Jo, sensing the moment, entrusted Yiwoo's company to her, excusing herself briefly. With a casual smile, Yiwoo greeted her properly, acknowledging their long-overdue reunion. The atmosphere shifted, but resentment still lingered in the air between them. Her cold words struck deep, revealing her unresolved bitterness toward him. Meanwhile, Yiwoo observed Aunt Jo, noticing how much she resembled someone from his past. His decision solidified. If fate had given him this chance, he would protect them now. As his thoughts settled, his foot unknowingly stepped into something unexpected, a bad omen. Yiwoo suddenly felt an eerie sensation beneath his feet, something unnatural lingering in the air. A surge of dark energy erupted from the ground, revealing a sinister presence from deep below. A cursed formation pulsed with a menacing glow, its origins tied to ancient forbidden arts. The sinister force loomed over them, its skeletal figure radiating a bloodthirsty aura. Yiwoo remained calm, analyzing the situation as the formation's energy attempted to suppress him. The noble girl beside him observed his composed reaction, intrigued by his unwavering confidence. She began explaining the history of the estate, recounting its past as an abandoned ruin. Her grandfather once hired a feng shui master to alter the land's natural energy flow. The master's influence turned the estate into the wealthiest district in Hijou. However, lingering doubts remained. Was this master's power truly beneficial, or something far more dangerous? Yiwoo listened closely, his instincts telling him there was more to this story. If the master was involved in the estate's transformation, then his influence needed to be investigated. A grand corridor stretched before them, leading to the heart of the manor. Servants greeted them respectfully, announcing that lunch had been prepared inside. A smirk crossed Yiwoo's face. Perhaps this stay would be more interesting than he expected. The afternoon sun cast a golden glow over the estate, a moment of peace settling in. After lunch, Xiaoru lounged on her bed, exhausted from the unexpected events of the day. She frowned, feeling uneasy about Yiwoo's presence in the estate, questioning his true intentions. Thoughts of her mother allowing him to stay only fueled her frustration even more. A friend reassured her, suggesting she stay at school and avoid unnecessary interactions. Xiaoru considered calling Professor Wang, planning to stay away for at least half a month. Her plan was simple: leave the estate and let Yiwoo remain alone with the servants. Meanwhile, a black car waited outside, ready to escort her away from the estate. Inside, Yiwoo handed Aunt Jo a health pill, a small but thoughtful gesture. With a nod, she accepted it, amused at his sincerity despite his carefree demeanor. As night approached, Yiwoo smirked, sensing the lingering tension within the villa. He planned to rest briefly before heading to Hijou University the next morning. However, as a car drove off, a sinister presence lurked in the distance, observing. Hidden figures moved through the forest, their eyes locked on the grand Yunyu villa. Their goal was clear: eliminate Yiwoo at any cost, regardless of the consequences. Yiwoo walked toward the gate, sensing a murderous aura lurking in the distance. In the shadows, assassins moved swiftly, their presence masked by the dense forest. A group of trained killers closed in, their movements precise and filled with deadly intent. One assassin revealed a sharp dagger, his eyes locked onto his unsuspecting target. A glowing blade shot through the air, speeding directly toward Yiwoo with lethal force. Yiwoo stood firm as assassins lunged from all sides, blades flashing with lethal precision. A powerful presence loomed as the group faced Yiwoo, underestimating his strength completely. Yiwoo remained still, calculating the best way to deal with his arrogant opponents. One man taunted him, believing Yiwoo lacked the ability to fight against multiple foes. In an instant, a blur of motion disrupted their balance, leaving them confused and alarmed. The men were stunned. Yiwoo had vanished without a trace, leaving only an eerie silence. The group scattered, attempting to locate him, their confidence shaken by his sudden disappearance. Yiwoo watched from the shadows, enjoying their confusion as they searched frantically. The leader retrieved a mysterious device, believing it could track his opponent's location. A subtle energy shift signaled danger, but he only realized it moments before impact. A wooden object struck his face, proving Yiwoo had already outmaneuvered them. In the darkness, a sharp eye glowed, observing the scene with calculated intent. A flicker of movement hinted at something ominous, unseen by the frantic men. Ye Wu finally emerged, his presence sending chills down their spines. He demanded answers, his mere presence suffocating those who stood before him. The defeated men trembled, realizing they had underestimated a force far beyond their comprehension. The man analyzed Ye Wu's movements, recognizing them as something beyond ordinary martial arts. Fear crept in. He realized Ye Wu wasn't the only terrifying presence here. Without hesitation, he made a brutal decision, eliminating any chance of secrets escaping. His desperation led to chaos, leaving his own allies as victims of his ruthless resolve. Ye Wu observed silently, realizing his existence alone was enough to attract these deadly encounters. Contemplating his battles, Ye Wu acknowledged the mastermind behind these constant threats. A surge of energy flickered in his palm. His power needed refinement before the next challenge. With a goal set, he turned toward Hijou University, seeking deeper knowledge of this era. If a sect existed in this time, understanding its power would be crucial. Meanwhile, an unknown force monitored his every move, tracking his whereabouts with growing concern. Alarms blared. An entire squad had vanished, leaving no traces behind. The team leader processed the grim report, his face darkening at the implications. A drone's transmission confirmed signs of conflict, but no bodies were found. The absence of clues only fueled his suspicion something far greater was at play. Rage surged through him, the realization settling that Ye Wu was unlike anyone they had faced before. A surge of energy erupted, splitting the air with terrifying force, shaking the entire structure. A dark figure stood at the center, radiating a power that defied all expectations. The sky cracked as the energy beam descended, signaling the beginning of absolute devastation. Elsewhere, Ye Wu moved through the city, his presence unnoticed by those around him. Stepping off the bus, he remained unaware of the chaos that had just unfolded behind him. The streets bustled with people, unaware of the hidden battles happening beyond their sight. A man analyzed the situation, realizing trouble always seemed to find him. Understanding his circumstances, he devised a plan to ensure his survival. The fear in the merchant's eyes revealed more than words ever could. Ye Wu walked past, observing how easily people ignored injustice when it didn't affect them. Memories of his master's teachings surfaced, reminding him of his duty in the mortal world. Every action carried weight, and ignoring suffering was never an option. Without hesitation, he stepped in, correcting what others chose to overlook. The man on the ground trembled, realizing he had encountered someone far beyond his understanding. With the problem resolved, Ye Wu continued walking, unfazed by the curious glances behind him. A sudden weakness overwhelmed him, his vision blurring as his body trembled uncontrollably. Shock filled his eyes as he realized his condition had vanished without explanation. He recalled a faint memory someone had given him a mysterious pill moments before. The realization dawned that an unknown benefactor had intervened, curing him effortlessly. Determined to repay the kindness, he ordered an immediate search for the mysterious healer. Swallows soared above the prestigious university, gliding effortlessly through the clear blue sky. Hijou University stood proudly, its elegant architecture surrounded by blooming flowers and lush greenery. Inside, students chatted excitedly, enjoying the beautiful campus and a break from their past lives. Among them, Xiaoru sighed in relief, finally escaping the pressures of her small hometown. A professor entered the lecture hall, announcing the arrival of a new transfer student. Ye Wu walked confidently inside, drawing everyone's attention with his sharp features and calm demeanor. Murmurs spread quickly. His familiar face stirred a memory, but no one could place it. Xiaoru gasped, recognizing him immediately, but she struggled to believe what she was seeing. Some classmates doubted his presence, unable to comprehend how he enrolled in such a prestigious school. The professor invited Ye Wu to introduce himself, but he kept his words brief and direct. Silence filled the room as students processed his introduction, their curiosity about him only growing stronger. Xiaoru exhaled in relief, grateful his name sounded different despite their shared surname. She quickly offered an open seat near her, eager to observe him up close. The professor turned to Xiaoru, allowing her to make the final seating decision. With a smile, she confidently chose to sit with Ye Wu, her curiosity now undeniable. Ye Wu followed the professor's lead, stepping into the classroom with an air of quiet confidence. A student signaled to him, offering an open seat as whispers spread through the room. He took the seat with a nod, sensing curious gazes lingering on him from all directions. Among the students, some exchanged glances, already planning to test the newcomer after class. The lecture continued, but interest in Yewu only grew stronger among certain individuals. After class, a group of students blocked Yewu's path, their expressions filled with arrogance. One of them smirked, challenging him directly, assuming he wouldn't dare retaliate. Yewu remained silent, his sharp gaze unwavering, assessing the situation carefully. With a subtle movement, energy surged from his fingertips, revealing a controlled yet powerful presence. The tension escalated as a flicker of flame ignited, catching the troublemakers completely off guard. A sudden outburst of panic filled the corridor as students scrambled to put out the flames. Yewu stood calmly, unfazed, realizing how much modern knowledge had drifted from true cultivation. He glanced around, observing the surroundings, determined to explore and understand this unfamiliar world. Meanwhile, Xiaoru and a friend spotted him from a distance, still curious about his intentions. As Yewu walked past them, they couldn't shake the feeling that he was different. Yewu noticed Jiang Xiaoru and her friend from a distance. His curiosity instantly piqued. A bird fluttered by, dropping something unexpectedly as it soared above their heads. The object landed precisely on Yewu's shoe, making him freeze for a moment. He bent down, inspecting the strange mark left on his polished shoe with narrowed eyes. Jiang Xiaoru stood nearby, looking surprised as she noticed him crouched before her. A friend watching from the side giggled, assuming Yewu was confessing in public. Jiang Xiaoru, flustered, quickly waved her hands and turned to leave in a rush. Yewu stood up in confusion, watching her figure disappear as she hurried away. He frowned, realizing everyone misunderstood the situation and blamed the unlucky bird. With a deep sigh, he turned, stepping forward, unknowingly triggering an unexpected event. A bruised and furious Jiju Shang clenched his fists, his rage boiling over uncontrollably. Yewu observed the city, sensing an unfamiliar era, yet his confidence remained unshaken. The past had faded, but his abilities remained sharp like a blade needing refinement. Training his mind and body, he sought to regain dominance in this new world. His hands honed steel while his mind sharpened wisdom, prepared for any unexpected challenge. The journey ahead was uncertain, but curiosity fueled him toward lost knowledge and hidden truths. Inside the grand library, ancient texts whispered secrets of a past long forgotten. He scanned the shelves, drawn to books holding wisdom beyond modern understanding. Others watched in amusement, underestimating his intentions, unaware of his deep knowledge. A strict professor silenced the crowd, upholding the sanctity of the historical archive. Yewu found a book, sensing its significance, an ancient relic disguised as simple text. A disturbance broke the silence. An unexpected presence disrupted the sacred study hall. Yewu remained composed, intrigued by the book's fragmented yet powerful teachings. A voice warned him. This room held sacred knowledge restricted from ordinary scholars. He calmly stood his ground, asserting his right to uncover these forgotten teachings. With firm resolve, he handled the ancient text carefully, aware of its true value. Yewu stood calmly as accusations surrounded him, yet his gaze remained unwavering. Recognition sparked in a stranger's eyes, a hidden connection resurfacing from the past. Realization struck the one before him had unknowingly benefited from Yewu's past kindness. The sudden shift in tone surprised the spectators, an unexpected reverence in their stance. The crowd murmured, uncertain how to respond to the sudden change in authority. The library's silence was disrupted as the discussion took an unexpected turn. Yewu observed, intrigued, as he turned his focus toward the mysterious book. His presence had stirred the balance, and hidden knowledge began to surface. The forgotten techniques within the book resonated, unlocking ancient energy long sealed. A surge of power surrounded him, shocking those who had underestimated his ability. Symbols of wisdom floated around him, energy manifesting in an uncontrollable force. The onlookers froze in disbelief, witnessing a long-lost mastery return before their eyes. A realization dawned: Yewu's abilities were not mere tricks, but deep-rooted knowledge. A mix of awe and suspicion filled the room, questioning the nature of his power. His past identity remained a mystery, but the truth was slowly unraveling. Yewu calmly stepped forward as confusion filled the room, his presence demanding attention. The guards hesitated, sensing an unfamiliar authority radiating from his unwavering stance. A book, seemingly ordinary, held deeper significance as it was retrieved from the shelf. The observers exchanged glances, uncertain of what Yewu intended to do next. With newfound curiosity, they followed his lead, eager to uncover the mystery. Under the moonlight, Yewu's sharp gaze caught movement from the distant shadows. Two distinct groups had gathered, their intentions shrouded in secrecy. A smirk crossed his face this night, promised to be more interesting than expected. The air grew tense, anticipation building as silent footsteps approached. Yewu prepared himself, his mind already strategizing the next steps. The gates loomed ahead, revealing figures stepping out from the darkness. Their movements carried purpose, a confrontation brewing beneath the quiet night sky. Without hesitation, a sudden attack disrupted the stillness, shattering the fragile peace. A powerful strike met resistance, bodies shifting as the battle erupted. Yewu stood unfazed, ready to engage in the chaos ahead. A powerful kick shattered the silence, launching an attack with overwhelming force. Yewu remained composed, effortlessly evading as chaos erupted around him. A group lunged, demanding something unknown, their desperation evident. He stood unfazed, watching as they scrambled to reclaim their so-called treasure. The tension escalated, and an order was given to eliminate the obstacle standing before them. Under the moonlit sky, an enemy moved swiftly, aiming for an overwhelming strike. Yewu observed, amused by their tactics, anticipating every move before it landed. Chains materialized, attempting to entrap him, but he remained calm. A burst of power broke through, sending shockwaves through the battlefield. The assailants panicked, realizing too late they had underestimated their opponent. An ominous force surged forward, dark energy engulfing the surroundings. A skeletal figure emerged, radiating an aura of destruction and dominance. Yewu moved swiftly, effortlessly bypassing the deadly attack. The formation crumbled, leaving its creator stunned by the unexpected resistance. The night remained silent once more, the battle's outcome now undeniably clear. A commanding voice echoed as an urgent summons disrupted the stillness of the night. A determined figure stepped forward, acknowledging the call with unwavering loyalty. Orders were issued, urgency fueling the need for immediate action. Across the city, a silent figure observed, realizing drastic measures had been taken. Shadows stretched beneath the moon, carrying whispers of an imminent confrontation. Yewu walked leisurely, blending effortlessly into the city's lively atmosphere. A sudden sensation tickled his nose, an odd premonition interrupting his thoughts. A startled passerby reacted, confusion the flashing across his face. Chaos unfolded unexpectedly, shifting the dynamic of the moment. Yewu simply observed, waiting to see how events would unfold next. The city sky remained clear, but an unexpected encounter was about to unfold dramatically. Yewu observed the man struggling, sensing an unusual tension in his movements. A sharp glare revealed hidden intentions, his expression betraying an underlying scheme. Without warning, he propelled himself forward, attempting an escape with unmatched speed. Yewu stood still, anticipating the moment he would take action effortlessly. A sudden realization struck: his wallet had disappeared without him noticing at all. His expression shifted instantly, understanding exactly what had just happened. The thief smirked, confident in his ability to outrun any pursuit. The stolen wallet flipped midair, reflecting under the bright sunlight. Yewu remained composed, analyzing the situation before making his next move. The thief stopped in an alley, eagerly opening the wallet with excitement. His face twisted in frustration. It was completely empty and useless. Meanwhile, Yewu arrived at a dormitory, knocking confidently on the door. A hesitant voice responded from inside, uncertainty lingering in the air. The thief turned back, realizing someone was already tracking his movements closely. Yewukin observed closely, recognizing something strangely familiar about his new roommate. Zhang Ziwen's expression shifted, recalling a past incident that unsettled him. Doubt lingered, but avoiding confrontation seemed like the best option. Accepting the situation, Yewukin introduced himself naturally, suppressing any suspicion. Zhang Ziwen hesitated, feeling guilty about something he couldn't openly admit. The dorm room was compact, filled with everyday necessities and random clutter. Zhang Ziwen suggested grabbing dinner, trying to ease the tension. The evening breeze carried warmth as they sat outdoors, sharing a simple meal. A familiar voice called out, breaking the peaceful atmosphere unexpectedly. Yewukin turned, recognizing Yewu immediately from his past. Yewu's eyes widened, surprised to see Yewukin in an unexpected place. A brief exchange passed between them, revealing an unspoken connection. Nearby, an impatient customer loudly demanded service. disrupting the moment. Ye Wu remained composed, handling the situation with professionalism. However, the entitled man pressed further, making unreasonable demands without shame. A smug man leaned back, making an inappropriate demand without any sense of restraint. Ye Wu stood firm, rejecting his offer while keeping her composure calm and professional. His expression darkened, revealing his arrogance as he grabbed her arm forcefully. Ye Wukin observed silently, waiting for the right moment to step in decisively. The atmosphere tensed as footsteps approached, signaling the arrival of unexpected interference. The arrogant man turned, sizing up Ye Wukin with amusement and overconfidence. He scoffed, commanding his men to act without hesitation or second thoughts. Zhang Ziwen hesitated, sensing the incoming conflict yet unsure how to react. Ye Wuchen remained still, completely unfazed by their hostile intimidation tactics. A single order was shouted, and his lackeys rushed forward with aggressive intent. A burly attacker lunged first, gripping a glass bottle tightly with reckless determination. Ye Wuchen stood motionless, eyes calmly observing the incoming strike without worry. With a subtle motion, he effortlessly deflected the attack in an instant. The sudden counterattack sent shockwaves, leaving others frozen in stunned silence. Zhang Ziwen's jaw dropped, unable to comprehend Ye Wukin's overwhelming ease. Ye Wu stood frozen, shocked by Ye Wukin's unexpected martial arts abilities. The arrogant man's confidence crumbled, his disbelief turning into visible panic instantly. Onlookers hesitated, wondering if the situation had truly come to an end. Ye Wuxin remained calm, unaffected by the threats thrown his way. The once proud man knelt, fear replacing his arrogance as he begged for forgiveness. Ye Wu exhaled, relieved that the tense situation had been resolved quickly. Ye Wuxin reassured her, stating that protecting classmates was simply being polite. The night air felt calmer as the group started making their way home. Ye Wu hesitated, requesting Ye Wukin to walk her back safely. Without hesitation, he agreed, their footsteps echoing in the quiet alleyway. As they walked, Ye Wuxin sensed an unusual disturbance in the surrounding atmosphere. A faint, unfamiliar aura flickered momentarily before vanishing completely from sight. He stopped, analyzing the strange presence, while Ye Wu looked on curiously. Arriving at her home, he ensured she entered safely before turning away. The mysterious energy returned, leaving him intrigued about its unusual origin. A mysterious scroll floated through the air, carrying an unknown message toward Ye Wuxin. He reached out instinctively, sensing something unusual about the ancient-looking parchment. The moment it touched his hand, a strange sensation surged through his body. His expression sharpened, realizing he had stumbled upon something important. The next morning, an entirely different kind of trouble began brewing elsewhere. The peaceful sky suddenly breaks with a scream, echoing across the quiet morning. A figure crashes down violently, shaking the entire courtyard, alarming the bystanders outside. Onlookers rush toward the scene, whispering among themselves about the loud disturbance inside. A man kneels, trembling, pleading for forgiveness while facing a powerful and commanding presence. The atmosphere turns tense as negotiations begin, the fear in their eyes evident. Panic spreads when the defeated man is grabbed roughly, his expression filled with terror. A calm but intense gaze pierces him, demanding a suitable price for his actions. Nervous and sweating, he quickly raises his offer, hoping to escape the ordeal unharmed. A final decision is made, leaving everyone stunned at the overwhelming power on display. The defeated men stumble away, their shaken confidence clear in every unsteady step. Determined to regroup, they leave, plotting their next move against the one who humiliated them. A strange technological device activates, signaling the beginning of something entirely unexpected. In a classroom, a teacher prepares to introduce a lesson that will change perspectives. Sitting in class, two students share an unexpected moment, their lives intertwining in surprise. A sudden proposal changes everything, leaving one student questioning what just happened. Ye Wu casually agrees to the deal, unaware of the misunderstanding about the rent. A sudden paper flies across the classroom, making everyone turn their heads in confusion. Someone gets hit unexpectedly, reacting with pure shock as laughter fills the room. Ye Wu rubs his forehead, realizing that his words just triggered an unexpected situation. The teacher, looking surprised, processes what Ye Wu just said with a serious expression. With a sharp tone, the teacher signals the end of patience, forcing someone to leave. Frustrated, Ye Wu decides to take a break and heads toward the library. A friend casually reminds him to reserve the study room for later discussions. Meanwhile, the teacher takes a call, her face shifting into a more formal expression. A mysterious request is made, leaving the teacher slightly puzzled but attentive. The teacher listens carefully as an influential figure on the call demands to meet someone. Realization strikes her face when she hears the exact name of the student mentioned. The teacher's expression stiffens, recalling that she had just kicked out that same person. Panic sets in as she processes the gravity of offending someone highly important. Hurriedly, she rushes out, realizing she might have made a huge mistake. The library remained peaceful as Yewushin focused on reading, unaware of approaching footsteps. A hurried figure rushed through the hallway, determined to find him before it was too late. Finally, Yewushin looked up, surprised to see the teacher standing before him. The teacher hesitated before speaking, trying to correct the earlier misunderstanding. She apologized sincerely, hoping to mend their initial rough encounter. The conversation took a sudden turn when an unexpected offer was presented before Yewushin. A prestigious professor personally invited him, making the situation even more intriguing. Yewushin remained skeptical, trying to gauge the true intentions behind the invitation. He continued reading calmly, uninterested in rushing into unnecessary trouble. The teacher, flustered, backed off, realizing she couldn't force him to act. Meanwhile, elsewhere, a group gathered, plotting their next move with calculated determination. A phone call was made, seeking help from a more formidable figure. The mention of Yewukin's name sparked interest, fueling their vengeful intentions. With a sinister grin, their leader decided it was time to make a move. A deal was proposed, setting the stage for an inevitable confrontation. A pair rushed through the city on a scooter, determined to track down their target. The name Yewukin was confirmed, and the mission became clear: confront him immediately. The engine roared as they accelerated, pushing forward with unwavering determination. Speeding through narrow alleys, they prepared for an ambush, fueled by their vendetta. Meanwhile, Yewukin arrived at the museum, unaware of the approaching trouble. Standing calmly, Yewukin scanned the surroundings, sensing something unusual in the air. A familiar face appeared, laughing confidently, assuming things would go differently this time. The threat was made clear: reinforcements had arrived, ready to take revenge. A scooter came skidding into the scene, signaling the arrival of another party. The atmosphere grew tense as the group gathered, preparing for a confrontation. Shock spread across the new arrival's face, realizing the unexpected presence of Yewukin. Panic set in as they quickly tried to reassess the situation before making a move. Yewukin remained composed, reading his opponent's intentions without a trace of worry. One of the gang members tried to shift blame, hoping to escape the situation. A sudden betrayal unfolded as confusion took over, changing the entire encounter's dynamic. A sudden shift in attitude left everyone stunned as an unexpected apology was given. Confusion spread as doubts arose. Why would someone so confident suddenly act so submissive? Realization struck, and fear crept in, questioning if Yewukin was someone truly untouchable. Without hesitation, a desperate bow followed, seeking mercy and hoping to avoid further consequences. Yewu towered over the defeated man, his presence alone enough to make him cower. His sharp gaze carried an unspoken demand, making the man hesitate under the weight of pressure. A tense moment passed before Yewu lifted his hand slightly, exuding an invisible force. Panic set in as the man scrambled, hurriedly offering more money to escape the situation. Yewu accepted it with ease, his expression unreadable as he turned away, unconcerned. Yewu walked through the courtyard, indifferent to the murmurs of the onlookers around him. From the shadows, a watchful gaze locked onto him, studying his movements carefully. His instincts sharpened: someone was observing him, their presence barely concealed. A sudden surge of energy cracked through the air, signaling a powerful force approaching. Without hesitation, he propelled himself into the sky, his speed leaving a streak of light. A figure stood in the distance, receiving news of Yewu's abrupt disappearance. High above, Yewu moved effortlessly, the city shrinking beneath him as he traveled. His destination lay ahead, a once grand estate now reduced to ruins. The destruction was evident. Charred remains and shattered walls painted a grim picture. His gaze darkened. A powerful presence still lingered in the distance, waiting. A grand estate loomed ahead, its golden gates barely hiding the tension within its walls. A shadowed figure smirked, intrigued by the approaching presence that disrupted the usual order. A group of fighters turned, eyes widening as Yewu strode forward without hesitation. Panic spread through the ranks, some immediately preparing for combat while others hesitated. A well-built man stepped forward, gripping his weapon tightly, assessing Ye Wu's intentions. The atmosphere tensed as Ye Wu stood unfazed, his opponent demanding an explanation. Without hesitation, Ye Wu moved, his actions precise, revealing his overwhelming presence. Shock filled the air as his opponent's anger exploded, throwing himself forward in retaliation. A swift exchange erupted, dust and wind swirling as Ye Wu easily dodged every attack. A weapon flew overhead, cutting through the air before slamming into the ground forcefully. Ye Wu launched himself forward, his movements effortless as chaos spread through the courtyard. The warriors guarding the estate formed a defensive stance, prepared to intercept his advance. Without slowing down, he evaded, effortlessly maneuvering through their strikes with practiced ease. More guards rushed forward, their frustration growing as he remained untouchable. High above the battlefield, Ye Wu watched the commotion below with mild amusement. Hidden figures watched as Ye Wu approached, their leader signaling for an ambush. Ye Wu smirked, sensing the anticipation. He welcomed the challenge ahead. The forest remained still, yet unseen enemies lurked, waiting for their opportunity. Stepping forward, Ye Wu called out, forcing those in hiding to reveal themselves. His expression remained unchanged as multiple opponents emerged, preparing for confrontation. A sudden movement from above signaled the attack. Dozens of figures descended at once. Ye Wu remained calm, analyzing their approach while effortlessly dodging initial strikes. His presence unsettled his enemies, their attacks missing as he moved unpredictably. A moment later, a heavy weapon swung towards him, cutting through the air violently. Without hesitation, he countered, shifting his position to control the battlefield. The battle intensified, with multiple figures charging in desperation to overwhelm Ye Wu. Amid the chaos, he casually picked up an apple, taking a slow bite. Below, clashes erupted as opponents fought fiercely, unaware of his lack of concern. From a distance, an enemy leader watched, gripping a strange object with determination. Tension filled the air. Ye Wu, amused, continued observing, unconcerned by the chaos. Ye Wu descended slowly, his gaze calm as his opponents struggled to rise from the ground. Ye Wu steps forward, recognizing an old enemy among the group. The air turns tense instantly. Memories of past conflicts resurface as Ye Wu narrows his gaze, preparing for inevitable combat. The opponent lunges first, reckless and full of rage. Ye Wu watches calmly, already predicting his moves. With a simple shift of his weight, Ye Wu dodges effortlessly, turning defense into a perfect counterattack. The enemy stumbles backward, realization dawning he underestimated Ye Wu's power. And now it's too late. A second fighter steps in, determined to avenge the fallen. Ye Wu remains unfazed, motionless. The new challenger charges forward, unleashing energy, confident in overwhelming Ye Wu with sheer strength. Ye Wu sidesteps at the last second, effortlessly countering with precision, sending his foe flying. The impact leaves the opponent stunned, his body hitting the ground hard, eyes wide with disbelief. Ye Wu dusts off his sleeve, finding their attacks unremarkable. They had no idea who they were facing. A powerful aura erupts as another enemy steps forward, brimming with energy, refusing to accept defeat. He raises his fist, summoning flames around his body, unleashing an attack meant to end the fight instantly. Ye Wu sighs, unimpressed. Dodging the fiery strike, he remains calm, his presence completely unshaken. The flames explode behind him, scorching the battlefield, but Ye Wu doesn't even flinch at the heat. He steps forward, eyes locked onto the final opponent. This fight was already over before it began. A blazing energy wave tears through the battlefield, its heat distorting the air around it. Ye Wu steps forward, his body calm, unfazed by the overwhelming force rushing toward him. His opponent lunges in sync with the attack, aiming for a decisive, merciless finishing blow. The ground shatters beneath his strike, the sheer force sending debris flying in all directions. Yet, Ye Wu remains unshaken, his sharp gaze piercing through the dust with unwavering confidence. His opponent gasps in disbelief, realizing brute strength alone won't be enough to defeat him. In a split second, Ye Wu counters, his palms striking with speed too fast to follow. A shockwave erupts, sending his foe flying back, agony clear in his twisted expression. The other challengers hesitate, witnessing the ease with which Ye Wu overpowers their strongest member. He turns his gaze toward the remaining fighters, his presence alone crushing their remaining willpower. The survivors quickly retreat, leaving their fallen comrades behind in desperation to escape. Yunyu watches them go, his expression indifferent, unimpressed by their lack of resolve. The fight ends as quickly as it began, leaving the battlefield littered with defeated opponents. With nothing left to challenge him, Yunyu casually leaves, heading toward a peaceful destination. Meanwhile, elsewhere, someone watches his movements closely, sensing a power that defies all understanding. The sound of approaching footsteps echoes through the corridor as a new presence arrives. A calm yet authoritative gaze scans the room, immediately drawing the attention of others. Conversations pause as the group acknowledges the newcomer, curiosity flickering in their expressions. A subtle shift in the air hints at an unspoken tension lingering beneath the surface. The discussion resumes, but an unshaken confidence lingers in the newcomer's stance. A familiar name is spoken, causing a flicker of recognition and surprise among the group. Questions arise as the newcomer's identity is confirmed, his reputation preceding him. An unspoken challenge emerges, the atmosphere shifting as anticipation builds among the observers. A rival watches from a distance, calculating his next move with growing determination. A moment of realization dawns, setting the stage for an inevitable confrontation. The rival clenches his fists, determined to prove his strength against the unexpected presence. The newcomer remains unaware of the scheming gaze watching his every move. A simple exchange of words sparks tension, shifting the dynamic of the group. The rival smirks, already planning a way to test the newcomer's abilities. A sudden disturbance interrupts, signaling that the real challenge is yet to come. A furious outburst shakes the room, drawing attention as accusations fill the air with hostility. The presence of guards escalates the tension, their authority demanding an immediate resolution to the commotion. A figure steps forward, pointing directly at Yunyu, declaring him the cause of the disturbance. Yunyu stands calmly, observing the chaotic scene unfolding before him with an unreadable expression. He turns to face a woman nearby, sensing curiosity and suspicion in her unwavering gaze. A sharp accusation is made, a claim of theft that sends whispers rippling through the crowd. Yunyu remains composed, neither confirming nor denying, simply raising his hand in invitation. The guards move in, searching him thoroughly, determined to find the so-called stolen artifact. Every pocket, every sleeve is examined, yet nothing is uncovered, no trace of the missing pearl. The accuser watches in disbelief, his confidence cracking as his claim begins to fall apart. The room falls into stunned silence as disbelief spreads across the faces of those watching. A confident smile appears on Yunu's face, exposing the truth behind the false accusation. The vase sits untouched, but tension rises as accusations spark a heated confrontation between rivals. Demands for a search intensify, forcing the accused into a situation he cannot escape from. Standing firm, he allows the search, exuding confidence while observers watch with skeptical anticipation. Hands move carefully, searching every pocket, but the expected stolen item remains nowhere in sight. Confusion spreads as realization dawns something has gone terribly wrong for the accuser's plan. A sudden movement reveals the missing item, pulled from a place no one suspected before. The room erupts in disbelief as the truth unfolds before everyone's eyes. Shock and panic flicker across the accuser's face, struggling to explain the impossible discovery. Murmurs fill the air as judgment shifts, turning suspicion onto the one who accused. A smirk appears, silent confirmation that the real game had already been won. In an instant, memories rewind small gestures, revealing a hidden manipulation behind the outcome. The weight of failure sinks in, realizing he had been outplayed from the start. A final decision is made, the consequences of deception now irreversible. His authority crumbles, leaving no chance to reclaim lost trust or power. The verdict is clear: one mistake cost everything, sealing his fate permanently. The commotion ends as guards escort the defeated man away, his struggle meaningless now. Yunyu stands calmly, his composed demeanor showing he never doubted this outcome. An offer is extended, an invitation to join forces and work together for the future. He acknowledges the gesture, valuing respect over meaningless pride, knowing alliances are sometimes necessary. With business settled, the night unfolds, welcoming a moment of well-earned celebration. The city lights glow as laughter fills the air, drinks raised in a toast. Yunyu enjoys the moment, relishing the simple joy of good company. The night breeze carries away worries as conversation flows effortlessly between them. A casual question sparks curiosity, leading to a discussion about choices and past decisions. Yewuchen remains mysterious, his true intentions hidden beneath his usual confident smile. The meal arrives, the aroma of grilled food heightening their anticipation. A small exchange shifts the atmosphere, revealing underlying emotions beneath the light-hearted gathering. The group settles in, ready to enjoy the night without further concerns. A simple statement draws everyone's attention, shifting the mood back to something serious. Yewuchen looks ahead, knowing that this peaceful moment won't last forever. Yewuchen is unexpectedly pulled away, his curiosity piqued as the night takes an unexpected turn. The moment doesn't go unnoticed, with quiet observations and silent speculations forming among the group. Eyes follow their departure, hints of interest and amusement lingering in the atmosphere. The quiet night air greets them as they step into an unknown path ahead. A new destination awaits, filled with unseen possibilities and hidden motives waiting to unfold. The view from above reveals the city's brilliance, a moment of peace before uncertainty returns. A small exchange takes place, shifting the dynamic between them in an instant. Choices are made, decisions sealed, as a new path is quietly set into motion. Parting words are exchanged, carrying unspoken weight as they prepare for what comes next. Left alone, Yewuchen's thoughts settle as the night takes a strange turn. Energy stirs, an ominous force awakening, disrupting the calm of the moment. His body moves instinctively, preparing for whatever unseen force is approaching. A sudden burst of power erupts, shifting the atmosphere into something more dangerous. The night sky is illuminated as an unknown entity emerges from the depths. A shadowed figure watches, recognizing the arrival of something far more dangerous than expected. A fierce spirit beast emerges, its glowing form radiating immense power under the night sky. The beast charges forward, its icy fangs aimed directly at its intended prey. Yewuchen moves swiftly, his instincts sharp as he anticipates the creature's next attack. Energy surges around him, fueling his next move as he prepares to counter. A powerful impact shatters the ground, sending shockwaves through the surrounding area. The force propels Yewuchen backward, but his balance remains unshaken. The beast lunges again, its presence overwhelming as it dominates the battlefield. Yewuchen reacts with precision, dodging with controlled movements in the narrow space. A moment of stillness is broken by an explosion of energy between them. Dust and debris scatter, concealing the aftermath of their relentless clash. Under the crescent moon, Yewuchen stands firm as a chilling force erupts from below. Yewu walked through the quiet street, sensing an unusual disturbance ahead in the distance. A massive beast materialized from the shadows, its eyes locking onto him with primal aggression. The wolf lunged forward, its fangs gleaming, its roar shaking the very air around them. Flames burst forth as the beast's aura surged, forcing Yewu to react instinctively. Energy exploded from his hand, striking upward like a divine force, illuminating the battlefield. The aftermath settled, but residual energy lingered, swirling around Yewu like a vortex. He extended his hand, drawing the mysterious power into his grasp, his mind sharpening. A celestial presence descended, an ethereal figure surrounded by divine light and magnificent wings. As the presence faded, the world returned to normal. Only the echoes of energy remained. A dog barked furiously, sensing the unseen force that had just interacted with Yewu. Yewu studied the dog, realizing it had been guarding something beneath the rubble. The ground trembled as the dog dug, revealing a hidden source of immense spiritual energy. The surroundings cracked open, and pure essence surged out, dazzling his sharpened senses. He recognized it immediately, an undiscovered spirit vein, brimming with untapped potential. This unexpected discovery would change everything, marking the beginning of something extraordinary. Yewu absorbed the surrounding energy, feeling a surge of immense power coursing through him. A glowing book materialized before him, containing ancient cultivation techniques long thought lost. He focused his mind, unlocking the secrets of the Thousand Miles Eye technique. The energy flowed into him, heightening his senses beyond mortal limits. His vision expanded, perceiving distant forces and spiritual movements with unparalleled clarity. His newfound power suddenly triggered an unexpected reaction, distorting his perception of reality. A presence beyond the door caught his attention, an anomaly within his enhanced sight. A woman emerged, her presence disrupting his concentration with a shocking revelation. Heat surged through his body as his control over the technique momentarily faltered. Realizing the situation, he struggled to suppress the unintended side effect of his power. The morning air carried urgent cries as an ambulance arrived in the bustling street. Yewu rushed forward, recognizing the woman collapsed near the emergency responders. Kneeling beside her, he sensed a disturbance in her life force, something unnatural. The ambulance was full, leaving him with only one choice: handling the situation himself. A familiar presence approached, bringing tension as the reality of the situation set in. Yewu hurried toward the hospital, her heart pounding with worry over her mother's condition. Yewu arrived, his gaze firm as he assessed the situation with unwavering focus. He placed his hand gently over Yewu's shoulder, radiating calm amidst the uncertainty. Inside the emergency room, the doctors worked, but their expressions darkened with frustration. The lead doctor finally stepped back, shaking his head in resignation at the inevitable outcome. The atmosphere grew heavy as the doctor declared the condition beyond medical salvation. Yewu's heart sank, but a spark of defiance ignited in Yewu's determined eyes. Rushing forward, Yewu pleaded, unwilling to accept defeat so easily. The doctors hesitated, their expertise failing against an illness beyond normal comprehension. Yewu, standing beside them, recognized the imbalance of energy causing the affliction. The doctors questioned Yewu's interference, doubting his knowledge in the field of medicine. Unfazed, he explained the true nature of the condition, rooted in spiritual imbalance. With confidence, he stepped forward, determined to use his abilities to restore harmony. The doctors hesitated, but the urgency of the situation left them with no other choice. Yewu's resolve burned bright. This was a chance to prove the strength of his knowledge. Yewu stepped forward, his confidence unwavering as he took responsibility for the treatment. Yewu hesitated, but deep inside, she knew there was no other choice left. The decision had been made. This was the only hope to save a life. Yewu prepared himself, drawing forth a scroll infused with ancient medical knowledge. With a swift motion, he activated the technique, allowing its power to take control. His hands moved with precision, guiding the acupuncture needle to the critical meridian point. A surge of energy flowed, aligning the internal imbalance that had caused the illness. The old woman's body convulsed, the shock forcing out impure energy violently. Blood spurted out, the reaction proving the deep-rooted affliction was finally being expelled. As the worst passed, Yewu waited, watching for any sign of life returning. The doctor accused Yewu, assuming the worst without understanding the nature of his treatment. Wu Ting's heart pounded as she turned toward her mother, hoping for a miracle. A flicker of movement caught everyone's attention as the old woman's eyelids trembled. Slowly, her eyes opened, revealing clarity that had been absent for far too long. Shock filled the room. What was once impossible had now become reality before their eyes. Yewu rushed forward, overwhelmed with relief as she grasped her mother's warm hands. The woman, once frail and unresponsive, now sat up with newfound energy. Yewu smirked, satisfied that his technique had worked exactly as intended. The doctors, once skeptical, stood frozen, struggling to comprehend what had just happened. Realizing their mistake, one of them adjusted his glasses, acknowledging the undeniable truth. The old woman turned to her daughter, curious about the young man who had saved her. Yewu hesitated before introducing Yewu, knowing she owed him more than gratitude. The weight of the favor hung in the air, leaving her unsure of how to repay him. Yewu casually proposed a simple solution, returning with her for a proper meal. Moments later, he indulged in a feast, stacking plates, as if bottomless hunger drove him. Yewu leaned back, satisfied after devouring every dish placed before him. Yewu stared at the towering stack of empty plates, still in disbelief. The sheer amount of food consumed left her questioning if he was even human. She sighed, accepting that this was a small price to pay for saving a life. Yewu stretched, patting his stomach before heading off to rest for the night. Yewu turned away, thoughts lingering on Yewu's presence in her home. A quiet moment passed before she realized how much had changed in a single day. Meanwhile, Yewu sat outside, sensing an unusual fluctuation in spiritual energy nearby. His instincts sharpened, as the presence of something unnatural became clearer. The large dog by his side barked, sensing the same disturbance approaching. The dog's warning confirmed his suspicions something dangerous was unfolding in the distance. Yewu narrowed his eyes, following the energy source toward the heart of the disturbance. His presence was being challenged, but he had no intention of backing down. A surge of power erupted, launching him toward an area undergoing massive destruction. Construction machines roared as the ground split, revealing a force hidden beneath the city. A mysterious man stood before the construction site, his presence exuding an unsettling aura. The woman beside him pleaded for a cure, offering anything to save her loved one. He smirked, revealing knowledge of forbidden techniques that required a heavy price. Dark energy swirled around him as he prepared a ritual, demanding a sacrifice. Without hesitation, she agreed, unaware of the true consequences of her decision. In a distant courtyard, figures in blue robes discussed a powerful ritual soon to take place. One of them grinned, holding a scroll inscribed with ancient, dangerous incantations. The scroll ignited, unleashing a fiery energy that shot forward like a blazing arrow. The ground trembled as the force struck, triggering a massive surge of dark power. A violent explosion erupted, splitting the sky and revealing an ominous gateway. The swirling energy formed a massive portal, crackling with sinister lightning. Black silhouettes emerged, their twisted forms exuding malevolence as they filled the sky. The figures in blue robes watched in horror as their intended control faltered. The ritual had succeeded, but the power summoned was far beyond their expectations. From afar, Ye Wu observed the unfolding chaos, preparing to intervene before disaster struck. The massive dog soared through the sky, its powerful aura radiating with overwhelming energy. Ye Wu stood firmly, his gaze locked onto the approaching enemies who had sensed his presence. The robed figures realized too late that they had encountered a force beyond their expectations. One of them stepped forward, raising his hand to unleash a powerful counterattack. A dark energy surged, forming twisted tendrils that lunged toward Ye Wu with deadly intent. Ye Wu raised his weapon, a swirling force of energy forming a protective barrier around him. A torrent of dark energy surged forward, twisting violently as it sought to consume everything. The robed figures panicked, realizing too late that they had provoked an unstoppable force. A powerful strike crashes down, shattering the ground, sending shockwaves through the battlefield. A man stumbles backward, eyes widening in terror, as an unseen force overwhelms him. The enemy watches in disbelief, realizing the summoned creature was merely an illusion. A mysterious young man steps forward, effortlessly catching a golden sword floating in midair. The attackers exchange wary glances, realizing this boy possesses a terrifying ability beyond their comprehension. Observing their movements, he quickly deduces their cultivation is far inferior to his own. One opponent ignites his blade, flames surging violently as he prepares a desperate counterattack. Another rushes forward, gripping a talisman, attempting to summon reinforcement from a forbidden technique. The enemy chants an incantation, unleashing a sinister aura meant to disturb his spirit. An ominous energy erupts, activating a formation designed to entrap even the strongest cultivators. The array hums ominously, forming a barrier that locks everyone within its deadly grasp. A dark figure emerges, malevolent energy swirling as an ancient demon is summoned. The summoner grins wickedly, commanding the demon to eradicate their foe without hesitation. The young man remains unfazed, amused that such outdated techniques are still in use. Without hesitation, he steps forward, unleashing an unstoppable force to shatter the demon's manifestation. The demon-infused figure lunges forward, radiating dark energy, aiming to strike a fatal blow. A cold glint flashes as a thin blade intercepts the attack with effortless precision. A chilling force sweeps through the battlefield, sending shockwaves that freeze everything in its path. The attacker stumbles backward, his weapon trembling, realizing the vast difference in their strength. In desperation, he charges forward, choosing reckless aggression over inevitable defeat. A swift hand grabs his throat, lifting him off the ground with ease. Struggling against the iron grip, his eyes widen in disbelief at the overwhelming power. With a powerful toss, his body is thrown across the battlefield, crashing into the ground. The surrounding fighters hesitate, witnessing the sheer dominance of a single man. Panic sets in as they realize resistance is futile against someone of such strength. One opponent, frozen in fear, turns to flee, abandoning all sense of pride. A paralyzing chill runs down his spine as he feels an overwhelming presence behind him. Trembling, he blurts out a desperate promise to return with greater reinforcements. Amused, his opponent watches, unbothered, as the cowardly fighter scrambles away. With a single step, he moves like a shadow, closing the distance effortlessly. With a firm grip, he demands answers, seeking the identity of the mastermind behind everything. The terrified disciple, trembling, confesses everything, revealing the hidden truth behind the Yinfeng formation. He hesitates before revealing his master's identity, realizing the consequences of his betrayal. The tale of an exiled master unfolds, a man cast out for violating sacred rules. After his expulsion, the fallen master established his own sect, gathering disciples under his corrupt ideology. Years ago, the fallen master discovered an ancient treasure buried beneath a mist-shrouded manor. Unable to wait a century, he manipulated fate, accelerating the treasure's emergence unnaturally. He had the abandoned estate rebuilt, ensuring the perfect conditions for his sinister plan. Secretly, he drained the vitality of those living there, feeding the treasure's power. The truth unfolds, and realization dawns as his opponent pleads for mercy, hoping to be spared. With unwavering judgment, he delivers swift retribution, dispersing his foe's soul into oblivion. The battle concludes, but he senses another looming danger that demands his immediate attention. A woman important to him is in danger, forcing him to shift priorities immediately. His immense cultivation could expose his identity, requiring him to suppress his strength carefully. Adjusting his demeanor, he conceals his presence, preparing for the challenges that lie ahead. The grand hall is illuminated by sunlight as the ritual is about to commence. A sharp dagger glints in his hand, signaling the true intent behind his actions. Betrayal fills the air as trust shatters, revealing the sinister nature of his plan. With swift precision, he lunges forward, aiming to complete his dark ritual. A desperate cry echoes through the chamber as realization sets in, but escape is impossible. A masked figure calmly intercepts the dagger, stopping the ruthless execution in an instant. A swift punch is thrown, breaking through the old villain's defenses with overwhelming force. The impact sends him crashing backward, unable to react in time against the sudden assault. The young man steps forward, exuding confidence, standing protectively beside the rescued woman. Yunyu adjusts his disguise, ensuring his identity remains concealed from familiar eyes. The villain, unfazed, brandishes a talisman, preparing to retaliate with a dangerous technique. With a roar, the villain lunges, his aura flaring as he strikes with deadly precision. A massive surge of demonic energy erupts, filling the space with overwhelming pressure. The young man calmly shields the woman, unaffected by the terrifying display of power. Yunyu speaks with certainty, condemning the villain's actions and challenging his twisted ideology. Without hesitation, he launches a devastating counterattack, breaking through the villain's dark energy. The villain hesitates, disbelief flashing across his face as his strongest move is easily countered. His frustration grows, realizing his opponent isn't ordinary, nor someone to be taken lightly. Gathering his last resort, he calls upon malevolent spirits to aid him in battle. The dark aura intensifies, filling the room with eerie energy as shadows twist unnaturally. Unshaken, the young man prepares to end this confrontation once and for all. The villain summons malevolent spirits, their eerie cries echoing as they swirl toward their target. Shadows twist and surge, forming a dark wave seeking to consume everything in its path. A counterforce erupts, golden chains materializing, suppressing the spirits with divine energy. The spirits wail as their forms dissolve, unable to withstand the overwhelming suppression. The villain stares in disbelief, finally realizing the true extent of his opponent's terrifying power. A powerful aura surges as the masked figure charges forward, closing the distance instantly. The villain hesitates, beads of sweat forming, as fear grips his heart. Accepting defeat, he abandons his pride, choosing to flee rather than face annihilation. A smirk forms as the pursuer watches, allowing the chase to begin. The villain dashes through the forest, hoping to escape, but his fate is already sealed. Just as he breathes relief, a deep growl echoes, stopping him in his tracks. A massive beast emerges, its golden mane bristling as it towers over him. Panic floods his face as he realizes he has stumbled into an even worse situation. The beast pounces, pinning him to the ground effortlessly, showing its overwhelming strength. With an amused expression, his pursuer arrives, watching the scene unfold with satisfaction. The beast lunges forward, its roar shaking the ground, overwhelming the frightened opponent. A swift claw strike sends the villain crashing, his last hope of escape shattered. The masked warrior pats the beast's head, recognizing its intelligence and loyalty. With danger approaching, he senses backup arriving, forcing him to move quickly. Without hesitation, he signals the beast, vanishing into the forest to avoid unnecessary conflict. Pursuers close in, determined to capture the escaping figure before he disappears entirely. The villain collapses, exhausted and defeated, unable to keep running any longer. Among the pursuers, Admiration grows for the warrior who effortlessly defeated such a foe. Riding atop the beast, he decides to retreat and restore his depleted energy. The wind rushes past as he speeds toward a hidden sanctuary to cultivate. Arriving at an abandoned area, he lands smoothly, prepared to begin his recovery. Speaking to the beast, he assigns it a temporary duty while he meditates. The atmosphere shifts as unexpected figures emerge, blocking his path with hostility. A gloved hand extends, warning him that he has stepped into forbidden territory. Unfazed, he studies them, amused by their confidence, ready for another confrontation. A group of bodyguards steps forward, their presence intimidating as they block the path. An elder master calmly channels energy, demonstrating his martial prowess with flawless movements. Observing the display, skepticism grows as the technique appears more decorative than practical. Offended by the remark, the guards react aggressively, viewing it as an insult. The elder halts their actions, his expression shifting, sensing an unusual presence before him. A bodyguard lunges forward, gripping the young man's collar, trying to intimidate him with force. The elder master observes the situation, sensing an unusual presence in the young man's stance. Yewu remains calm, analyzing the opponent's technique, while standing firm with quiet confidence. The elder master critiques Yewu's understanding, doubting his ability to perfect an ancient martial art. Defending his heritage, the elder insists on proof before accepting criticism of the sacred technique. Yewu offers a deal: improve the technique, win the place, and gain recognition as a master. The elder acknowledges the challenge, understanding that actions will determine the rightful owner. Yewu steps forward, ready to demonstrate his mastery in a single, decisive movement. His movements are swift, fluid, and precise, channeling energy into an unseen yet immense force. A single, devastating strike erupts from Yewu's fists, shaking the ground beneath them. The force crashes into a tree, splintering wood as the power echoes through the surroundings. Shocked, the elder realizes Yewu's strength far surpasses his expectations, changing his perspective. Spectators murmur in disbelief, recognizing the sheer force behind Yewu's perfected martial technique. Yewu calmly states his understanding, proving his ability to refine the once flawed martial art. The elder concedes, acknowledging Yewu's wisdom, and humbly asks for forgiveness for his doubts. True to his word, the elder willingly surrenders the place, recognizing Yewu's undeniable superiority. The elder master concedes defeat, deciding to leave and avoid unnecessary conflict with Yewu. His subordinates quickly retreat, following orders without hesitation, eager to leave the tense situation. Yewu sits calmly, instructing Lion King to stand guard, securing his newly claimed territory. Observers quietly plan to investigate Yewu, curious about his origins and incredible strength. Yewu reflects on recent events, realizing the world has changed far more than expected. Memories resurface, revealing similarities between past and present individuals connected to his former life. He contemplates whether these events are coincidences, or if something deeper ties them together. Determined to find answers, he reaches out to an old acquaintance for information. A lead emerges: an ancient tomb linked to events from 2,000 years ago. With curiosity growing, Yewu decides to visit the site and uncover hidden truths. Yewu sets out, determined to explore the tomb that may hold long-buried secrets. He wonders if the past still lingers within, waiting for him to unravel its mysteries. The night sky stretches above as he arrives at the excavation site with anticipation. A deep hole in the ground confirms the tomb's existence, exactly as he was told. His companion confirms their arrival, preparing to uncover what history has long concealed. The group surveys the tomb's entrance, noticing hired guards ensuring their safety inside the ruins. Some feel uneasy, the eerie atmosphere making them regret joining this dangerous expedition. The leader urges everyone to move together, ensuring no one lingers behind in fear. Stepping inside, they are met with an enormous space, far larger than expected. The sight overwhelms them, making some question if this ancient place is truly a tomb. Their mission is clear: locate missing archaeologists and recover valuable artifacts for research. Yewu notices an unusual disturbance, something unseen affecting his senses inside the tomb. He remains composed but feels a sudden dizziness, sensing an unknown force nearby. Hidden figures lurk in the shadows, discussing their grim actions against the previous expedition. The intruders worry about competitors, determined to seize any treasures before being discovered. A masked enemy declares their ruthless plan, ensuring no outsiders leave the tomb alive. A mysterious red flower appears in his hand, radiating an ominous energy through the air. Yiwu immediately senses the danger, his instincts alerting him of an impending ambush. A deadly attack is unleashed, streaking through the air toward the unsuspecting group. Reacting swiftly, Yiwu moves to intercept, his reflexes honed from countless battles. Yiwu swiftly deflects the incoming attack, his movements precise and controlled under pressure. The masked enemy is shocked, confused as to why his attack didn't land as expected. Yiwu and his allies remain vigilant, sensing an unknown presence in the darkness ahead. A sudden disturbance sends eerie figures emerging from the shadows, moving unpredictably. Fear spreads momentarily, but reassurance follows. These are no ghosts, just another unknown threat. Armed guards step forward, issuing a warning to halt before escalating the situation further. The masked enemy scoffs, showing no fear of weapons, exuding an aura of confidence. A gunshot rings out, but the enemy moves faster than the bullet's trajectory. With terrifying speed, he lunges forward, closing the distance within seconds. Energy-infused projectiles cut through the air, signaling an impending battle in the underground ruins. The guards fire rapidly, their bullets tearing through the air, hoping to stop the advancing enemy. A sudden counterattack blinds them, forcing them to stumble backward, overwhelmed by the unexpected retaliation. Fear fills the air as the masked men approach, their sinister intentions clearly visible. One of them eyes the women, treating them as nothing more than prizes to claim. With a twisted grin, the leader agrees, allowing them to indulge before eliminating witnesses. Before they can act, Yiwu interrupts, drawing their attention with a calm presence. The leader is startled, realizing he had overlooked Yiwu entirely until this moment. Confident in his strength, the masked man steps forward, eager to handle Yiwu alone. Without hesitation, he lunges forward, his attack fueled by arrogance and blind aggression. Yiwu watches, unimpressed, as the brute's movements lack both skill and refinement. The enemy's attack shatters into nothing, its power insignificant against Yiwu's overwhelming presence. With effortless grace, Yiwu stands unbothered, as if dealing with a mere nuisance. Laughing, the enemy mocks Yiwu, believing him to be caught in a clever trap. A thick purple mist spreads, engulfing the area and disorienting those trapped inside. The group struggles momentarily, but Yiwu remains completely unfazed by the situation. His expression turns cold, disgusted by the cowardly tactics used by his opponents. The enemy stares in shock. Yiwu hasn't even flinched, rendering their entire plan meaningless. The masked enemy, humiliated and enraged, draws a blade, determined to end the fight. His fury explodes as he charges forward, the knife aimed directly at Yiwu. With precise movements, Yiwu evades, effortlessly avoiding the incoming deadly strike. A powerful counter lands, sending the enemy reeling from the unexpected force of impact. The masked fighter stumbles, blood splattering as he realizes the overwhelming difference in power. The remaining enemies hesitate, realizing Yiwu's strength is beyond anything they had anticipated. They whisper among themselves, debating their next move against such an unpredictable opponent. Yiwu stands calmly, unfazed, waiting to see if they attack together or surrender. The leader reassures his men, claiming there is no need to fear their opponent. He smirks, revealing a hidden object, a mysterious lamp glowing with eerie purple energy. The masked leader raises the lamp, confident in its power to change the battle's outcome. He taunts Yiwu, believing the artifact will force him into submission and fear. Yiwu remains silent, unimpressed by the supposed power of the glowing object. The leader assumes Yiwu is scared, growing more arrogant with every passing second. With a final warning, he demands Yiwu kneel, or suffer the consequences of defiance. The masked enemy screams in agony, reeling from Yiwu's devastating counterattack. His ally, enraged by the humiliation, declares vengeance and grips the soul-sealing lamp. Dark energy surges from the artifact, twisting through the air like writhing chains. Yiwu watches calmly, unimpressed by the opponent's desperate reliance on external power. He swiftly maneuvers, evading the binding energy as it attempts to ensnare him. One of the masked men is caught in his own trap, unable to break free. The realization sets in, panic overtaking his confidence as his body struggles against the chains. His screams echo through the chamber, his energy forcefully extracted into the glowing artifact. The other enemy hesitates, realizing they have completely underestimated their opponent's strength. Desperation fills the air as he begs for help, hoping to escape his impending doom. The leader grips the soul-sealing lamp, realizing his only option is betrayal to survive. Fear overtakes loyalty as he considers sacrificing his own brother to escape the trap. He hesitates, but ultimately chooses self-preservation, using the artifact to absorb his ally. Yunyu remains indifferent, watching the enemy's downfall unfold before his eyes. With a final move, Yunyu directs the dark energy back, sealing the betrayer's fate. Yunyu holds the soul-sealing lamp, its energy pulsing as the surrounding aura grows heavier. A sudden disturbance echoes through the cave, small debris falling as an unknown presence approaches. Yunyu's sharp senses activate something unexpected is coming, and he prepares for what's next. Yunyu gently gives Shueji a pill, hoping it will restore her consciousness soon. Her lips tremble as she swallows, her body weak but gradually responding to the medicine. Slowly her eyes flutter open, revealing confusion as she recognizes the familiar yet changed surroundings. A sudden sharp sensation rushes through her head, making her eyes widen in shock. Nearby, two girls sit up, groaning in pain, rubbing their temples in discomfort. One girl suddenly screams, her voice echoing through the cavern, eyes fixated on something. A lifeless body lies on the ground, sending a wave of panic through them. Yunyu remains calm, but the others freeze, struggling to process the shocking sight. Shueji slowly stands up, her body still recovering, yet her gaze remains sharp. Yunyu realizes he forgot to deal with the body now. Explaining would be difficult. Trying to remain composed, Yunyu improvises a reasonable story to calm their nerves. The girls hesitate, but admiration sparks in their eyes after hearing Yunyu's explanation. He downplays his role, smiling confidently, brushing off their praise as exaggerated reactions. Suddenly, he recalls the mysterious glowing wall he discovered earlier in the cavern. Pressing his hand against it, he feels a strange vibration as something unlocks inside. Yunyu steps closer, noticing a passage revealed behind the old crumbling stone wall. His eyes widen as he senses a mysterious force emanating from deep inside. Shueji and the others catch up, curiosity filling their expressions as they approach. The group exchanges glances before deciding to proceed into the dark, ancient tomb. A thick spiritual energy lingers in the air, making Yunyu feel an unusual presence. They step into a massive chamber, its towering pillars covered in ancient carvings. Shueji tenses up, her gaze locking onto a group of eerie skeletal remains. A large skull rests ominously, its hollow eyes staring at them with an eerie aura. Suddenly, skeletal figures stir, their bones rattling as they rise from their slumber. Yunyu narrows his eyes, realizing these warriors were once powerful cultivators in life. Shueji spots an ancient sword resting between the skeletons, its aura almost calling her. She instinctively reaches forward, drawn by the weapon's strange glow and ominous energy. Yunyu and the others react in alarm, realizing the sword may hold hidden dangers. Before she can withdraw, a surge of energy erupts, sending her flying backward violently. A blinding purple light fills the tomb, shaking the very ground beneath their feet. Yunyu reacts swiftly, catching Shueji before she crashes into the ground. The group gathers, concern evident as she slowly regains her composure after the impact. Above them, the sky crackles with an intense surge of blue lightning energy. A group of men stands nearby, their expressions serious as they observe the phenomenon. Zhang Jiayun steps forward, recognizing the lightning's origin and assessing the situation carefully. Zhang Jiayun senses the tomb's energy shifting, signaling the emergence of something powerful inside. Her subordinates report that contact with the initial exploration team has been completely lost. Realizing the stakes, she quickly organizes her team to secure the tomb's entrance. The team rushes forward, their focus locked on whatever secrets may be hiding inside. Meanwhile, inside the tomb, Yunyu checks on Shueji, ensuring she isn't seriously injured. The air turns ice cold as an eerie presence begins to manifest within the tomb. A glowing skeletal figure emerges, radiating a dangerous, otherworldly energy. The group freezes in shock as the entity moves, its hollow eyes glowing ominously. Yunyu steps forward, positioning himself protectively as the undead figure raises its weapon. The skeletal guardian speaks, its voice echoing through the tomb, demanding they retreat immediately. Yunyu watches the skeletal warrior, his eyes narrowing as he tries to gather information. The skeleton refuses to reveal anything, instead preparing to attack with its eerie energy. A surge of dark energy forms as more skeletal soldiers appear, ready to strike. Ye-woo exhales, realizing diplomacy has failed, and prepares himself for an intense battle. Blue flames burst from his feet as he moves, launching into an explosive counterattack. The flames sweep across the battlefield, incinerating the undead warriors in an instant. Qiu Shueji and the others watch in shock, witnessing his overwhelming power firsthand. The last remaining skeleton hesitates, its glowing eyes flickering with uncertainty. The battlefield is silent for a moment as Ye-woo stands tall, completely unscathed. The undead commander stares at him, questioning his identity with growing fear. Ye-woo steps forward, his presence alone shattering the remaining skeletal soldiers into dust. The final guardian barely holds itself together, its ancient soul trembling with dread. He speaks calmly, acknowledging the skeleton's suffering and urging it to find peace. With one final strike, the guardian collapses, finally freed from its eternal duty. Qiu Shueji looks at Ye-woo, now more curious than ever about his true identity. Ye-woo smiles confidently, attempting to ease the tension while assessing the situation carefully. A sword suddenly falls, its sharp edge slicing through the air, carrying a mysterious aura. A sword infused with lightning energy hovers in midair, crackling with immense power. Ye-woo's eyes widen as he recognizes the legendary weapon's incredible presence. The sword pulses with energy, drawing attention from everyone inside the tomb. Qiu Shueji and the others step back, sensing the overwhelming force radiating from it. The atmosphere grows tense, an unknown danger lingering as the sword begins to descend. Zhang Jiayun arrives with her subordinates, her gaze locking onto the floating treasure. The sudden intrusion shifts the balance, with tension rising between both groups. Qiu Shueji clenches her fists, feeling as if she's caught in a high-stakes battle. Zhang Jiayun's eyes sparkle with excitement, clearly seeing an opportunity before her. A smirk appears on her face, ready to claim whatever prize lies ahead. Zhang Jiayun points at the sword, making her intentions clear without hesitation. Her subordinates step forward, their aggressive stance signaling an inevitable confrontation. Ye-woo tilts his head unimpressed, already sensing their hostile intentions. One of the men charges, brandishing his weapon, aiming directly at Ye-woo. The group rushes forward, determined to seize the treasure by force. Ye-woo moves swiftly, dodging an incoming attack while countering with precise force. His opponent is struck mid-air, sent flying backward with overwhelming impact. Another attacker lunges, but Ye-woo effortlessly deflects, knocking him to the ground. The enemies hesitate, realizing his strength far exceeds their expectations. Zhang Jiayun grits her teeth, deciding brute force won't be enough to win this battle. Qiu Shueji and the others remain alert, sensing the shift in Zhang Jiayun's strategy. Zhang Jiayun raises her hand, signaling her men to hold their positions momentarily. A sudden surge of energy crackles behind Ye-woo, drawing everyone's attention. Zhang Jiayun's gaze locks onto the Thunder Sword, its energy still surging fiercely. Her confidence returns as she demands control over the legendary weapon. Zhang Jiayun's threat intensifies, directing her attention toward Qiu Shueji and the others. Panic sets in as the situation escalates, forcing them into a desperate position. Ye-woo smirks, seemingly indifferent, raising his hands in a nonchalant gesture. Zhang Jiayun orders her subordinates to detain the women, ensuring they remain powerless. With a burst of speed, she leaps toward the sword, determined to claim its power. Zhang Jiayun grasps the sword, her face lighting up with triumph as power surges around her. A sudden burst of ominous energy erupts, dark chains shooting out unexpectedly. Her subordinates panic, getting ensnared by the strange force before they can react. Zhang Jiayun's confidence wavers as the chains tighten, lifting them into the air. She turns, eyes wide, realizing she may have underestimated the sword's hidden danger. Ye-woo helps Qiu Shueji to her feet, ensuring she's unharmed from the earlier chaos. Zhang Jiayun regains composure, her grip tightening around the sword's hilt. A powerful aura explodes from the weapon, summoning thunderous energy around her. Blue lightning crackles, forming the shape of fierce dragons coiling behind her. With newfound confidence, Zhang Jiayun prepares to unleash the sword's true power. Ye-woo observes calmly, unimpressed by the overwhelming display of lightning energy. Zhang Jiayun sneers, believing her victory is now guaranteed with the sword's power. She swings the blade, sending a massive wave of lightning toward Ye-woo. He dodges effortlessly, landing unscathed while Zhang Jiayun watches in disbelief. A cloud of smoke rises, and Zhang Jiayun gasps, unable to comprehend what just happened. Zhang Jiayun lunges forward, gripping the thunder sword tightly, preparing a powerful strike. A surge of energy erupts as she swings, aiming to end the fight in one blow. Ye Wu swiftly dodges, leaving behind only an afterimage as she attacks. Her expression shifts from confidence to shock as her sword cuts through empty space. She grits her teeth, realizing her opponent's speed is far beyond her expectations. Ye Wu suddenly appears right in front of Zhang Jiayun, catching her completely off guard. Before she can react, he casually takes the thunder sword from her grasp. A powerful shockwave bursts forth as he grips the blade with complete control. Zhang Jiayun stumbles backward, her confidence crumbling as she watches in disbelief. Ye Wu smirks, lifting the sword effortlessly, showing her how it should truly be wielded. Lightning crackles violently around Ye Wu as he raises the sword into the air. Zhang Jiayun's eyes widen in fear, sensing an unimaginable force gathering. The energy explodes downward, shaking the entire tomb with a devastating strike. She screams, unable to withstand the overwhelming power unleashed before her. The battlefield is consumed by a blinding surge of lightning, sealing the battle's outcome. The sword hums with a mysterious glow, its surface radiating powerful energy, floating in midair. Ye Wu narrows his eyes, sensing an unusual force embedded within the weapon's core. He carefully grips the sword, feeling a surge of energy coursing through his fingertips. Ancient runes illuminate the blade, revealing encrypted patterns hidden beneath its polished surface. Lightning surged around the woman as she screamed, her body overwhelmed by uncontrollable energy surges. The crackling electricity violently struck the ground, sending a shockwave through the entire room. A group stood frozen, staring at the lifeless body, fear gripping their expressions tightly. A young man stepped forward, smiling confidently, reassuring them that she was still alive. A girl, still shaken, questioned his abilities, her eyes glowing with deep suspicion. Ye Wu calmly unsheathed his sword, its blade crackling with intense blue lightning energy. Glowing sparks danced around the weapon as Ye Wu dismissed their concerns with a smirk. The sword, infused with overwhelming power, hovered, radiating an unstoppable force within the room. Sitting in meditation, Ye Wu reflected on his recent encounter, feeling newfound strength within himself. Above the night sky, lightning stormed violently, announcing the awakening of an unfathomable power. An elder watched from afar, sensing the disturbance, suspecting a treasure had emerged. Holding his phone, he pondered, wondering if someone had seized the mysterious opportunity. Ye Wu dialed a number, but the call failed, deepening his growing unease. His sharp gaze hardened, realizing something had gone terribly wrong in the unfolding events. Meanwhile, a young man's eyes glowed with satisfaction, knowing his task was finally complete. Chu Shuiji coughed, feeling the lingering energy from the intense battle still surging within. Ye Wu observed his opponent, astonished by their resilience, as lightning energy crackled around them. With a sudden burst, Chu Shuiji lunged forward, aiming to end the fight swiftly. His opponent collapsed, gasping, realizing their life was now in his hands. Standing tall, Chu Shuiji glanced around, understanding that cultivation sects truly existed here. Ye Wu retrieved the thunder sword, its energy pulsing as he claimed it as his own. His opponent hesitated, unwilling to leave, eyes filled with desperation and uncertainty. She pleaded to follow him, determined to escape the fate awaiting her return. Chu Shuiji considered her words but remained indifferent, uninterested in unnecessary burdens. Without looking back, he called his companions, ready to leave this place behind. His companions smiled, relieved to finally leave the strange and dangerous surroundings. Ye Wu paused, staring at the spirits lingering behind, lost in deep thought. The girl gasped, confused by his reaction and sudden silence. Ye Wu knew his cultivation was exposed. Returning meant certain death at the hands of enemies. The next day, in the office, they rested, preparing for the challenges ahead. Chu Shuiji examined ancient manuscripts, realizing they lacked any real value despite their historical origins. Lying in bed, she slowly opened her eyes, still feeling disoriented from the previous events. Chu Shuiji greeted her with a smirk, glad to see her finally awake. She sat up, confused, trying to recall how they had returned from the tomb exploration. Ye Wu explained the situation casually, leaving her feeling even more puzzled about what truly happened. Chu Shuiji suddenly felt uneasy, his stomach reacting strangely as he tried to remain composed. Ye Wu excused himself, deciding to leave and find the restroom as quickly as possible. Walking through the hallway, Yiwu searched for the restroom, but found the signs missing. A worker pointed him toward the right direction, guiding him toward an unfamiliar door. Without hesitation, he entered, completely unaware of the mistake he had just made. Inside, a woman turned in shock, her face turning red with embarrassment and rage. Before he could react, she screamed, her voice echoing through the entire hallway. Chiu Shueji stumbled back, raising his hands in confusion as she lunged at him. She struck with full force, sending him flying backward, her anger completely unleashed. Before he could explain, she charged again, determined to punish him for his mistake. Chiu Shueji dodged swiftly, realizing the poisoned needle was meant to paralyze him instantly. His opponent lunged forward aggressively, determined to teach him a humiliating lesson. With a victorious smirk, she watched him suffer, feeling satisfied with her revenge. Chiu Shueji sat in disbelief, frustrated that he had fallen victim to such a trick.